Hi, today we're going to put together a container, just a standard container. The plants I'm going to choose for this one here are going to be for a sun type container. Take more sun than it does shade. The basic rule that a lot of people use is thriller, spiller, and filler. It's just a basic standard to go by. I don't necessarily use that. If I find a combination of plants that I like, that's what I put together in that. So your main thing to focus on is just if all the plants are for sun or for shade. It's not so easy to mix those two types up. So what we're going to start with, I think, on the side, more to flow down over the side, is going to be this Supertunia. This one here is called Bubblegum. This eventually will fill in the whole side of the pot. Only stand about this high, but trail down then on the ground probably a foot or so. It'll be a nice pink skirt down off the side. So go ahead and take it out of the pot. As you can see, this one here is rooted really nice. Sometimes if you buy your plants from a box store like a Home Depot or such, or garden centers that get their plant material brought in, this will be a solid root and it'll be wrapped big time. Then you want to peel that away. Just kind of pull that away, loosen them roots up before you plant it. But because I grow my own plants, they're timed pretty well, so they're perfect for replanting into pots. And so this one here is going to kind of sit off to the side. We'll dig it down in a little bit. Set the soil back down. You want to set the plant in so it's about an inch from the top, so when you water it, there's a little bit of a lip, a bowl in there for the water to sit in as it soaks down. You fill the soil all the way to the top, and the water has a tendency to run off. And the other important thing is to use potting soil. Buy a purchased potting soil. Don't get dirt out of your yard or your garden or whatever. It just compacts and makes poor growing medium for your plants. So get a potting soil. The next thing we're going to put in, I like these little violas. It's going to give a nice contrast off in this petunia. The petunia will kind of overtake it as the summer goes on, which is fine because violas in the heat of the summer kind of slow down on their blooming that they're going to do. So those there we'll put in the side. It'll give us some good early spring color. And then as the summer goes on, we won't worry about the blooms because the other one will take over it. And this one you can see has got a little more rooting going on, the bottom especially. I just literally pull off some of those roots and break this up a little bit with your thumb. Wherever you break those roots up, it's going to stimulate it to grow more roots out into the soil, and it's going to make for a much more vigorous and healthy plant. So we'll put him right there. And then, as something tall in the center, I think I'm going to go with this iris, which is actually a perennial, but I use perennials in a lot of my containers. This is a young plant. This will get, it's blackberry lily. It'll get about this tall, has yellowish orange blooms on it. It's going to make a very nice contrast. The grass itself, the leaves on this plant is what I like in the center. Makes a nice contrast look to the center of it, but when it starts blooming, it takes this container to another whole level. So before we fill in the whole outside, I'll put that plant right here in the center. Whoop. Like such. And then I've got a couple other plants here. I don't want to put a blue right next to a blue. They'll kind of get lost in each other. So then we'll go with this phlox. Cabernet it's called. It's just a little bit different shade of pink. Makes a nice contrast, but yet blends this whole pot well together. And it looks like I'm probably going to need a little more potting soil. I usually keep my potting soil just in another container close by. You're going to make a mess no matter where and when you put your containers together. So have a place where making a little spillage on the ground or a table or whatever is no big deal. When you're all done, you just sweep it up, clean it up. And we're leaving a little bit of space, not a lot, because these are young plants here. These will grow in, fill in a whole lot more. By this here is mid-April right now, and by mid-July, this planter will not even look close to the same planter. This grass will stand up here, and the rest will be solid color all the way around. So we have that phlox in right there. Make sure we have soil all the way around it. And then on the back side, I'm going to use this Bacopa. It's another nice trailer. It'll kind of blend in with the other phlox and petunia. This blue makes a nice contrast again off from the pink of the petunia. And there you have it. You can see by looking at it from different sides, there's going to be color all the way around it. It's a nice blend of color. You're going to have things flowing over. You're going to have some of this upright. Your viola will be upright, your grass in the center, your iris in the center. Gives you a nice combination colors of looks. And then what I always suggest to customers is hang on to the tags, whatever you use in there. You don't have to put them out there so everybody can see them, the neighbors and such. But tuck those tags down inside. So come the end of the summer, you're thinking, boy, this planter was really nice. I'm going to try these same plants again next year. I want to replicate that. When you go to dump this planter out, you've got all your tags tucked away. Just hang on to them over the winter. When you come back to the garden center next spring, say, hey, this planter worked well together. You got these same plants? More often than not we do, or we have one that's very similar to it that's going to do just as good a job. So there you have it. Thanks for stopping by.